This is going to be the Escape from Durnholde as a Mistweaver Monk. I won! It's still doing that. Also known as the Old Hillsbird Foothills. This is sort of a sunken temple of Atalhakar situation. I'm a gnome right now, you might notice. This takes place in the Caverns of Time. We're time traveling to a point in Azeroth's history where we need to look like humans to not disrupt the, well, humans, Alliance races that were around at the time. Humans, gnomes, etc. To not disrupt the time stream too much. That's the lore reason. That, yeah, so I have to do this dungeon as a gnome. Anyway, so this gave me an enormous amount of trouble for not particularly great reasons. Don't get too attached to this party because these are not the ones I'm going to finish the dungeon with. But here's where I pick up the quests and stuff. So Erosion, he's actually a dragon, I think. Gives me a pack of incendiary bombs. This dragon, in dragon form, gives me a ride to Durnholde Keep. So, yeah, this dungeon's weird. Some artifact of the way I'm transformed into a character of the other faction, I think, caused a problem in targeting my healing spells that you'll see as soon as we land. So let's see, a couple of things to know about this. There used to be PvP servers for this game where you could go there and always be attackable by the other faction. On a non-PvP server, you were only attackable if you took certain actions that flagged you for PvP combat, or deliberately did it yourself. That's what I look like as a gnome. So nowadays there's this thing called War Mode. There are no PvP servers anymore, but if you turn on War Mode, it basically puts your server into PvP mode. You're phased into a different, like a different server shard sort of, and you only see other players who are in War Mode, and they're always attackable. Anyway, that part doesn't matter, but something about having to be flagged for... I never turn on War Mode, never turn on PvP if I can avoid it. I don't enjoy that kind of play. But somehow coming in here and being transformed to a character of the opposite faction. The tank and one other person has now gotten the Horde symbol on their nameplate. You cannot do that to a PvP target while PvP is disabled. I'm attempting to cast healing spells and nothing is coming out. So I'm not flagged. I don't have a Horde symbol over my name. So I'm trying to figure out what I can do about this. Is there a setting for it? It's fine to have PvP on in here because I won't run into any actual Alliance players. This is instanced. The 5 of us are the only ones who can access this particular location. See, now up there she has like the mercenary icon, so like attackable by anybody, including same faction. But no, that's like a different mercenary icon. I didn't even know what that is on the right of her nameplate there. It was hard to tell if Essence Font was doing anything there. My hope was that I could cast that and have the healing bolts hit her. I guess I'd have to watch real closely to see if they actually did. So yeah, I'm having some problems here. Her health did go up. I don't know if that was from my action or from one of her actions. Essence Font alone is not a sufficient healing spell for an entire dungeon, though. It kind of looks like it's hitting her. It's really hard to tell. Anyway, so what you're supposed to do here is go down here, set all these lodges on fire. That's what the pack of incendiary bombs is for. Then the first boss comes. Problem is, I can't do any healing. Because all my direct target spells just are having no effect. So Essence Font obviously isn't working. I can't Dispel, I can't Soothing Mist, I can't Renewing Mist, I can't Vivify. Cannot do anything to these two. Checking my inventory is not going to help. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, what do I do in this situation? For one thing, communicate. Something's going wrong. I don't really figure out how to describe what's happening to me. I'm trying to say something, but just hoping I can solve the problem on my own. So I think my thought at this point was like, okay, so it says you can't do that to a PvP target while PvP is disabled. Is that a setting? Let's look through the settings and see if we can find something about this. This is obviously a game bug, by the way. Like, this just should not happen. So I found it there in my menu. PvP, enable. You cannot do that. PvP is disabled. PvP, enable. Player versus player does not enable, no matter how many times I click it. So that's a no-go. Yeah, so I have no idea what to do at this point. Still can't quite come up with how to describe what's going on here. Incendiary bomb set, 2 out of 5. They're getting the dungeon done without me. If they're noticing what's happening, they're probably just thinking like, boy, what's this healer doing? Unless they're aware of this bug, like this is a known thing. I did ask for a moment, but didn't say I was back, and they can see me moving around, so yeah, I mean, I should have communicated a bit more here. So I end up just leaving because I have no idea how to fix what's going on. Hope they can get another healer who doesn't have this problem. So here's another group. I make another attempt at this, hoping that was just a one-time thing. And same thing has happened with the entire party this time. Everybody has a flag on them now. What I don't know is if perhaps these are players who normally play in war modes. So you can type /PvP to turn it on. And yet, that doesn't work. Just as it did not work to click on my name and enable it. So I'm a little better this time at describing what's happening, because I know sort of what to expect. Still trying to fix it. Game still says no. So they at least know why I'm unable to heal them right now, sort of. Do not stress it, you say. Problem is, you're not really going to get through this dungeon without a healer capable of doing any healing at all. I mean, maybe will. But it's not super likely, and I don't want to be here just as dead weight doing nothing. So I leave again. So, third time. So outside the dungeon here, I decide that as a possible solution, maybe I can put my own flag up before I go into the dungeon. So turn that on while the thing is going. I already had it on, but I refreshed it just to be sure. So we're back in here again. And I test and I can cast a healing spell. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's all fixed, but because at this point in the other groups I could do that too. So right here's the real test. Nobody has the no interacting with them symbol on them, so I can do it now. I just cut out the flight over because it's kind of long. Alright, so finally we can actually do the dungeon. That one bit of tedium out of the way. Now we can do the tedium that the dungeon is actually designed for. Because this is kind of an annoying dungeon. It takes a little while. Oh man, I'm going to be making gnome noises the whole time I'm in here. Oh boy. The tooltips and everything update, so I have no idea what these players' actual races are. For now, they're humans and gnomes. And dwarves. I see a dwarf in my party. So let's just pretend we're playing on the Alliance right now, I guess. Even when playing on the Alliance, you may still get transformed here. Like, when I came here as a Draenei, he turned into a human. Funny thing is, I kind of liked the way that particular human looked, and okay, I got 2 first-timers in here. Got it. I then created a human mage based on what he had looked like. So that's how my Alliance mage character had come about. But that's not who I'm showing here. Anyway, so Death Knight tank. Uh-oh, Ejak has the mark of no touchy on him. That's not good. So I might not be able to heal one of my party members. Looks like this problem is still a problem. Do I notice and test it? And where did that come from? It wasn't there a moment ago. How annoying. So that tells me this was probably not, because some time went by in between these attempts. That tells me it probably was not a server-side issue that was fixed. I probably just lucked out that the tank, at the very least, didn't have the mark of no touching when I came in here. So yeah, it's just like this weird, annoying gamble to come in here. I wonder if this is fixed now? Like an actual game patch has happened since, like, you know, a version number bump has happened since this was recorded, so maybe this is better now? I don't know. I don't remember ever having had this problem before. Revival? Maybe I was testing to see if it would hit the, what is that, a warlock? Alright, who's what? Well, I would guess Lock and Fire would be the warlock. Okay, what do we have here? I need to puzzle this out. I see a mage color on the minimap. I see, I think, a warrior. Right, she doesn't know where to go because it's her first time here. Top floor is not the place. We need to go to the bottom. I didn't really remember my way around here, so I wasn't going to play Dungeon Guide because it had been a while. I remember the overall flow. Yeah, so there's like this whole upper floor to this keep here. This is Durnholde Keep, but there's nothing to do here. There are people to fight. There's no actual reason to fight them, though. Oh, right, and we're not even supposed to be in the keep yet. Yeah, okay, so incendiary bombs. Gotta do that first. That mage has found some trouble. Okay, so that gnome on the bottom is the mage. She's running away from the trouble she found down there, and just died. Whoops. Why is it taking me so long to... What? I just walked away from her without resurrecting. What am I doing? I guess I'm letting her release spirit and come back? That was weird. Okay, so she's a fire mage. She has the cauterize effect. That's a fire mage thing where what would be fatal damage will bring you back with a fraction of your health, slowly burning away, and a big speed buff, so you can get away from danger and potentially recover once every, like, I don't know if it's 15 minutes or something. It's a while, but anyway, so you can, that's how she was moving so fast if you were watching her minimap icon. Anyway, so yeah, looks like she's found her way back. Yes, that dwarf is definitely a warlock. What's the other one? The one that I can't touch. Also a mage, possibly? And where are they? Are they with us? It looks like there are just 3 of us here. Okay, it is a mage. And they are with us. So yeah, that party member is probably just not going to get any healing from me throughout this dungeon. I think Renewing Mist can transfer when it jumps from party member to party member, if one person's health is full and somebody doesn't have full health. I'm not completely sure about that, though. Fortunately, this is not a circumstance that ever came up in any other dungeon, including the other Caverns of Time dungeons where you get transformed. Okay, yeah, so go into one of those lodges. I rolled over the thing, so click on a barrel to set the incendiary bombs. Lock and Fire knows what's going on, and is setting the bombs. Boy, this dungeon's enough of a nightmare when you know what you're doing, but like... For a first time here, yeah, this is just an annoying place to figure out. I took some damage there. Okay, I don't have healing elixir yet. I wonder when that's going to change. What level am I right now? Am I still like 74 or something? Healing elixir is a talent, so I might actually get it at 75, so possibly very soon. Yeah, you cannot do that to a PvP target while PvP is disabled, so yes, I cannot heal the Frost Mage. I'm trying to identify what I'm seeing there. Is that a male human model? I don't know. It's just vaguely person-shaped with a big hood over it, so I cannot tell what's under that hood. And of course what's under that hood is not accurate to what that character would be normally. Anyway, so they're healed up somehow. Yeah, I think Renewing Mist transferred over, maybe. It's hard to tell. Incendiary Bomb set, 3 out of 5. So there's like 2 sides to this little pit that we're in. 5 internment lodges. Click the barrel in each one, and once that's happened, first boss comes through. Not too bad on the healing demands now that I can actually target most of my party. Just have to pay a little bit of attention here. Oh, there's fear. Okay, so watch out for that. I want to say some of these might be able to interrupt me if I stand in the wrong place, but I haven't seen it happen yet, so I might be misremembering. Okay, so I found the barrel. I was looking to see if I could set that ablaze while they were out there doing stuff, but somebody already did it. Incendiary bomb set, 5 out of 5. Great. Internment lodges set ablaze, 1 out of 1. Alright.
You there! Fetch water quickly! Get these flames out before they spread to the rest of the keep! Hurry, damn you!
So here's first boss.
I know what you're up
What's his name?
and I mean to put an end to it.
Lieutenant Drake. Okay.
Time to bleed. Run, you blasted coward!
Alright, so he fears 2. Wait, it looked like I still had control over myself while I was feared. How did that work? Because I was using Crackling Jade Lightning on him. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, Thrall's here. He's the one we're rescuing from Durnholde Keep. So now that this is done... I should come back here on my own and test specifically why do you need to do that before you rescue him. So with Lieutenant Drake defeated, you go down to the basement down here, where Thrall's being held. Yeah, there, you found it.
Loktar, friend. What is it you wish?
So he chains on to the next part of the quest.
Very well then.
We break him
Let's
out.
go.
There was the map for a moment. So Hillsbrad Foothills is an area you can just visit in the world. This is a small slice of it in the past. Kind of a weird setting for a dungeon. It seemed super neat the first time I did it, but it just gets tedious and annoying. As you'll see in a moment, oh man, there are some design decisions made here that I don't really agree with. I understand why they were made, but they are problematic. Alright, so Thrall's here. 6th party member, sort of, but he doesn't do much. He's just kind of there to tag along with the rest of us. The only person in the party who actually looks like a member of the Horde right now.
My hand.
Casting a lot of Renewing Mist here.
This day is long overdue. Out of my way.
Guess I'm just making sure it's always up in case it needs to jump over to the person I can't target. Okay, so I'm experimenting with enemy nameplates now, huh? I decided I liked them off. I don't currently agree with that. I prefer them on. It can get to be kind of a bunch of stuff on the screen when I'm seeing both party and enemy nameplates. I don't know. Targeting in this game is a puzzle of its own. I have my personal resource display on, which I end up turning off at some point. I don't like seeing the health and mana bars down below my character. That just doesn't help me to see them in that position when they're in the upper left, and that's where I'm used to looking. Kind of just gets in the way of the center part of the screen where the action is. Alright, so we're pretty much back where we started after the Bronze Drake landed and brought us in at first. Man, without nameplates on, I feel like I can't even tell which enemy I have selected. Alright, so something happens here. A rider approaches. What does that say? Captain Scarlock? Yep.
Thrall, you didn't really think you would escape, did you? You and your allies shall answer to Blackmore, after I've had my fun.
This dude has a super loud voice for some reason. He's like louder than any other voice you hear in this entire game. I wonder if his voice clip accidentally like plays twice over top of itself, or if that audio file just happens to be balanced way louder than anything else. Maybe it's on purpose, maybe he's just supposed to have a big booming voice. But it's always very noticeable. Alright, so he's a paladin, doing paladin-y things, using Hammer of Justice on Death Knight here. Alright, so we're out of the keep. Oh, somebody talked to him to move the thing on. Alright, so you have to talk to Thrall there. So this is such nonsense. Since time is of the essence, he goes and finds himself a mount, and rides on it. However, I assume this is to account for the possibility of a character somehow arriving here at level 74, or whatever you would be, without having learned any riding skill. His riding speed is the same as running speed, and it's super slow, and there's kind of a long way to go. Again, I understand why the decision was made, but I don't really agree with it. Like, couldn't it detect if there's a player in the dungeon without riding skill and just like set his speed to whatever the slowest one of those is? It's a little faster than walking speed, but you know, not all that much. Yeah, other later parts of this game where, let's see, this is a Burning Crusade or Wrath of the Lich King dungeon? This is a Burning Crusade dungeon, I think. So a pretty old one. I guess maybe past that expansion they figured out better how to yeah, this is definitely Burning Crusade. How to handle situations like this. And speed is auto-adjusted for mounted speed and unmounted speed. Just like if you mount up when you're with somebody out in the world, they will go at your speed, basically. It's a little more complicated when it's a whole party of people. I guess he just stole the slowest horse in the world, basically. Fortunately, this ride's pretty much over. Pretty much. Alright, so he eats off, scares his horse away.
What is it you wish?
I don't know who this Taretha character is. Somebody that Thrall knows, apparently, who's going to help him in his escape. I'm not sure when these events took place, if this was like something that happened in Warcraft 3 or like just some other bit of lore that's being recreated here. I don't know. So he goes here and people see him arrive and we have to fight them. So anyway, we're searching around Terran Mill for Taretha, I think. Visiting a couple of more locations. Until we end up locating her. She wasn't in the barn, is she in the church? No, but more guards find us.
I have earned my freedom.
All these interior spaces makes it a little hard to see what's going on, because they're not really built for fights like this. But they work okay, I guess.
There.
So there's Taretha. She has some kind of shadow orb around her. Shadow prison.
Brawl. Come outside and face your fate. Who or what was that?
So that's what we're here to stop.
Aretha's life hangs in the balance. Surely you care for her. Surely you wish to save her.
Those lines of dialogue are really poorly synced. That's always how it comes out. Surely you care for... No!
There you are. I had hoped to accomplish this with a bit of subtlety, but I suppose direct confrontation was inevitable. Your future
I got soul stoned.
must not come to pass. And so, you and your troublesome friends must die.
So yeah, the deal here is that a certain group of dragons is traveling back in time to try to prevent events from the past from taking place that have like butterfly effects in the future. But the Keepers of Time, which is the bronze dragon flight that we're working with, I think, wants to prevent their prevention because the present has to be preserved. You know, who knows what's going to happen if you start messing with the time stream, basically. There are a couple of more dungeons with the same theme. It's kind of a cool concept. Just implemented like real clumsily in this one in particular. I think this is final boss. Well, Frost Mage has taken some damage. There's nothing I can do about it. Sorry, Ejak. Can't help you. The game said I wasn't allowed. I'm not actually sure what's causing that damage, but there's some party-wide stuff going on here. I used Revival. I guess maybe hoping it would hit, what, the person who was already dead? And is back at the entrance? I don't know. Yeah, okay, a surprising amount of party-wide damage happening here. Just from being near this dragon. It hurts. Looks like I wasn't super prepared for that. But everybody I was able to target stayed alive. Mana bar is down a bit. That did strain it slightly. Alright, so these two have a conversation. You have to wait for that to finish to turn into the quest, I think? Yeah. Guess they decided to stop voicing this part. So erosion comes in, wipes their memories of what happened here so that time can continue as normal, and they'll forget about us. Words imply that Teretha dies from something. I don't know what her story is. This is the only place I know her from. Alright, Thrall runs off and goes to fulfill his destiny, whatever that is. Okay, so that's done. What a mess of a dungeon. I'll see you next time.